What's up guys, I'm Steven with the Annapolis Blues. Today we're over with our sponsors, Rehab to Perform. We get mobility training, they get in the boots, just stretching in general to make sure they're tuned up for game day.
So I'm gonna have you guys kind of line up here. I'm gonna demonstrate through each of the exercises, mobility, like dynamic warm-up style stuff. And then I'll have you kind of go through, you don't have to do like a crazy length of it, but enough so they can get some reps in it, and we'll change up. Each of these is gonna be kind of like a do it down, and then we change up when we come back. Is knee hugs. Kind of raise up onto your toe a little bit as you come up, and then take a couple steps, repeat with the other leg. A quad and reach out forward, take a couple steps, repeat, same on the other side. Scoop throughs, heel down, toe up, lean forward, scoop through. Then we're gonna start challenging your guys' balance a little bit. Figure 4, reach down towards the toes. Just start to feel this a little bit into hip and glutes. Then we're gonna do what we call our world's greatest stretch, a half kneel position. Reach open, twist, get a good stretch. You can kind of get a little push forward of your hips to get some hip flexor work as well. Any discomfort in ankle, hips, knees going through? Good, you guys had some good stability going through. Then we're gonna switch gears away from warm up, and we're gonna think about, okay, training's done. We wanna get ready, kind of cool down the body, but say you've got a drive going home, gotta go. Once you get back into like college season, going to sit in class, things like that. You wanna make sure you keep yourself nice and mobile going through. So we're gonna pop down onto the turf. We're gonna start with my favorite one to give everybody, which I'm sure you've seen some of your teammates doing, if not done on your own. So these are our 90-90 hip flips. So your front knee about 90 degrees, back knee 90 degrees. You're gonna keep your feet rooted in place, so I don't want them to really move. Swivel up and then drop down to the other side, trying to stay as upright as you can. These can also be something that you do pre-training, pre-match to loosen up the hips and get them ready to go before you start into like full-blown warm-ups. So in that 90-90 position, we're gonna be working on the back leg. So this is one where you may feel like you have to lean yourself forward to start, but eventually we wanna be able to do it all the way upright. Jackson, you were already hitting into it. You're gonna try to lift that bottom leg up off the ground and then bring it back down. Pause a second or two when it's at the top of that motion, and we'll try about 5 of these on each side. The better you get with it, the more upright you can be, less hands on the ground, really working on that motion. And if this is one where you find one side's a lot easier to do than the other, the side that's tougher, you wanna hit a few more reps with that and focus on that side more, because that's gonna be an imbalance in your mobility from side to side. Both sides feeling about the same, any side feeling worse than the other? Feel worse on that side? You get pain with it, just discomfort with it? What are you feeling? All right, just tougher to do? Yeah, it's definitely one that we wanna work into. I'm gonna go grab a band. The next one we do, we're gonna use like those real big power bands, and it's gonna actually be partner mobility work. So this is something you can grab teammate when you're going through at the end of training and hit a couple reps of these ones. You're gonna both be in a half kneel position, but you're gonna be back to back. Okay. The band is gonna go through around front of the ankle on one leg, and then we're gonna take it, loop it through the front of the ankle on the other side. Perfect. You guys should feel a decent pull through the front of that ankle. This is gonna work to help get some ankle mobility going. As you're in this position, you're gonna rock forward, getting knee over toes. We'll do about 10 of these on this side, and then we'll switch over to the opposite side. The band's gonna help add some extra mobilization to the joint to get it moving a little bit better, especially after harder training, a lot of running. We want to make sure the ankles aren't getting super stiff on you. You can also vary this one as you're going, how we're doing knees straight over toes. You can vary the angle and have it be kind of knee inside the big toe. You can go knee outside the pinky toe, just getting that ankle moving through all different planes of motion. It's going to be a partner drill. One partner is going to be standing, one's going to be laying down on the ground. This is going to get a little bit of a hamstring stretch, but also some activation of your hip flexors. So you'll be laying all the way down, and then Jackson, you're gonna have one of his legs up straight. You're gonna take that leg into a hamstring stretch. So once you feel the stretch, you tell him, okay, yep, that's good, hold there. You're gonna maintain that stretch the whole time. As that hamstring's getting stretched, you're gonna actively raise your other leg into a straight leg raise up off the ground. Good, heading up towards there and then back down. And you can always tell him if it starts to be too intense of a stretch, let him know to back off a little bit. Should be something where you're feeling mild to moderate stretch, don't want it to be too severe. And all of these things that we're going through, more of that like post-training recovery, these are things you can hit before training too. It doesn't just have to be afterwards, but the afterwards component is what's really gonna help keep you a little bit looser, especially when you have a lot back to back in a week. Gonna be more important to hit the mobility those times to keep you ready each day. That Wednesday to Thursday transition is definitely gonna be something where you wanna hit that mobility, especially with the away games too. How's this one feeling? Good. All right, then everybody's gonna be down on the ground. We're gonna do an active style hamstring stretch. So laying on your back, you're gonna grab behind your thigh of one leg. Your arm's gonna support the thigh the whole time. Then you're gonna kick that leg up straight, bring your toes towards you, hold for a count of 5, then you're gonna point your foot away and let the knee bend back down. Next ones we're gonna go through, we're gonna switch from lower body, hit a little more into like mid to upper back, because that, especially more times you're running, especially as a goalkeeper, reaching, jumping, you're gonna get a lot tighter through those areas. So the first one we're gonna do, let's see, we're gonna do a thread the needle. So you guys are gonna be on all fours. Then I want you to sit back onto your heels. One hand's gonna be palm up. You'll reach through, try to get a good stretch as you reach through, and then you're gonna twist all the way open. Reaching through, and you can let your head follow your hand. That way you get a little bit of neck mobility in there as well. We're gonna come up against the wall for the next one. We're gonna do what we call an open book. So for this, you're gonna be half kneeling. Your closer leg is gonna be up against the wall. This wall, fence, even like kind of going up against the bench on the sideline. So that knee's gonna be up and in contact with the wall the whole time. Then you're gonna have one arm that comes out straight. Your other arm's gonna do an extra reach forward. Then you're gonna twist open as far as you can. The goal is to be able to touch the other wall, keeping both this arm and knee up against the wall. You may not get there, that's just the goal of it, but that's something to work towards to improve that mobility. We'll try about 5 to each side. 2 more we're gonna go through on the turf. First one is gonna be what we call a plank into a downward dog. So you're gonna get some shoulder mobility going, hamstring stretch at the end of it. Starting in a plank position, you're gonna push through your hands, working on driving your heels down towards the ground. Pause a second or 2, then you'll shift your weight back over onto the hands and then back up into that motion. Try your best to keep those knees straight so that you can get a good hamstring stretch, but let them bend a little bit as needed. Then we got one variation of that we're gonna do. It's gonna be a plank with a rotation. So in that plank position, one hand's gonna reach up, kind of twist your feet onto their side, and then rotate back, switch sides, reaching towards that ceiling, coming back. We'll do about 5 of those to each side. Jackson, we're gonna come look at your hamstrings here. Well, what have you been dealing with lately, hamstring-wise?
There was one day where we had a morning training session, 7.
Yep.
And then we had an 8:30 p.m. game the same day. And it was just like an extra scrimmage. So it was probably just a bit of like overloading.
Overloading it.
But like toward the end of the game, I just kind of like slowed down.
If you pushed it, it was almost gonna like pop on you?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I'd say it's kind of been a thing.
Go ahead and lay down on your back for me. I'm gonna take a look first at just some of your hip mobility. Do you feel it on both sides? Does one hit you more than the other?
The right side.
More the right side? Right. We'll test out this left side first. See where we can go to. And how about with your hips? Do you ever get any like pain or things with the hips?
Yeah, I mean, I'm driving a lot, so it's
Yeah. Because how far are you driving typically?
about an hour.
Yeah. The more I talk to you guys, the more I see that seems to be the normal spree. especially you go through hour and a half, 2 hours of training just to get in your car for an hour. That's the time where everything's gonna tighten up on you. For the long drive, definitely stretching and hitting mobility work after the training session, at least a couple reps, and then once you get out of the car and back home or wherever you're going, hitting it again just to loosen everything that had just gotten tightened back up on you. Exactly, because the tape's not the cure. You're only gonna perpetuate your injury, especially if you just go to rely on the tape. You've got to build up the bones of that stability through the ankle, and that's what's gonna be what prevents you from getting them down the line. Exercise-wise, so once we get through the hands-on work, we can go to loosen it, but then we've got to give you the tools to make sure you can keep doing it on your own. So the first couple, the hamstring exercises we were doing earlier, that active hamstring stretch, hugging behind, that's a good one to do. Another one, so how we had like the partner stretch, I'm going to show you how you can do it just up against a wall, so you don't need a partner to do that one. Something you can throw in if you go to like a corner in the house, or you hit where a door is opening up, you're gonna lay back. One leg is gonna be up on the wall, other leg will be out straight. So we're going with the stretch, but you're also getting a little bit of activation with it and teaching that hamstring how to pair with the hip flexors. One knee's on the ground, you're gonna slide leaning forward to get a little stretch of that hamstring. Then you're gonna actively use that hamstring to curl foot back to the start position, get the hamstring firing back. You're gonna dig heels down into the box. Think about keeping core tight and slowly come down just on one leg. And again, pay attention to if you've noticed one side that it's tougher to do on than the other. So that's gonna be your cue. All right, you gotta work to strengthen up that side a little bit more so. All right, so that tells us, again, we gotta start training up. So when you do have time and you go through those RDLs, especially the single leg ones, start to bias your right side out. So maybe if you're doing 10 reps on that right side, maybe you only do 6 on the left. Make yourself have that difference so that it can start to catch back up and really gain past what the left side can do. So again, you can do like feet on hardwood with a towel, paper plates, anything like that, or you can go grab sliders, or as I learned when I came here, these are called furniture movers too. In case you didn't know that, because I didn't. One other version of an RDL I want to show you is how you can change up and kind of take a step down from the single leg RDL. So as you're going through, when you're doing that single leg, you got to get a lot of balance and stability going with it. Sometimes that can cause you to compensate and use other muscles. So I like to use a kickstand positioning for it. You have one foot that's forward, your other foot gets propped up onto your toes. Then most of my weight's still on my right leg here. My other leg's really just for balance. Then you're gonna sit back, go towards that deadlift maneuver, and then come back up tall. You can do a variety of different things to make this a little tougher. So you can take it into like a tempo where you go nice and slow, 3 to 5 count on that lower, and then quick back up. Kind of teaching the hamstring how to work from that lengthened position into a quick activation, especially as you're sprinting. Good. How does it feel as you go into that quick up? Good. We'll do about 5 on each side here. I would start incorporating a little bit of this into in between training sessions. If you don't want to hit a heavy weight with things so that you don't get too sore in between, just hit like one set of like those bridges where you go up on 2, down on 1, and like one set of the kickstand, so you're at least activating the hamstrings, but not overloading them too much that they won't be able to keep you going. And then hitting the mobility at the beginning and at the end of that workout. That way they don't tighten up too much on you. And if you want to keep working through hamstring stuff too, we can get you in here. Yeah. That way we can start building it up so it doesn't keep happening as like a perpetual thing for you.